Hello everybody, I'm going to read from the King James Bible, Matthew chapter 24, and we're going to read about, as in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. Verse 37, but as the days of Noe, as it's written in the King James Bible, which is Noah, were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For in the days of Daniel, these are the same days, the days of Daniel, as I've covered in many videos showing you, that's all linked to Obama. For as in the days of Daniel, I'm going to paraphrase here, that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. This also was the time before Noah entered the ark and describes the time that we're in now. And they knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So what will the coming of the Son of Man be? Earlier in the chapter 24, it says in verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days, the days of Daniel, right, the 1335th day, the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. That is written in Revelation chapter 1. For all shall see him, he shall come in the clouds, and the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven. So all eyes will see him. No secret rapture, no pre-tribulation rapture, no John Nelson Darby, no C.I. Schofield, no Andrew Irvine, because that's where it all started, from the Scottish sect of the Urbanites, and then it got taken over by John Nelson Darby and the like. Dispensationalism, pre-tribulation rapture, secret rapture theory. Just like evolution is a theory, secret rapture is a theory as well. The imagination of a man who's long gone from this earth. They shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to another. So let's read about in the days of Noah, chapter 6 of Genesis. Chapter 6 of Genesis, verse 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. Excuse the cuckoo clock. 120 years, because his spirit shall not always strive with man. And this is no different right up until the days of the Son of Man returning to gather his church and bring judgment on the beasts, the two beasts of Revelation 13, and their kingdom that they've set up on the earth to deceive the whole world. Right, so notice the numbers 120 there. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not strive with man, or in this case, will not strive with the false prophet and his antichrist, or the antichrist, Barack Hussein Obama, son of perdition, man of sin, and his false prophet, Pope Francis. Will not strive with them. And if you're lucky enough, you'll live to 120 years. No life extension technology is going to help you. Okay, and putting all this together, let's read later in the chapter, in chapter 6. It says, talks about Noah doing all that he was commanded to do to build the ark. And then, in chapter 7, verse 6, and Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters came. Flood of waters was upon the earth. So the flood came down 600 years. And we know that the world is reserved for fire, as it says in 2 Peter. Not going to be repeated with a global flood. Although areas of the world are flooding today horrendously, like Texas in the United States. There will not be another global flood, but there will be a global fire, and that's what is coming. And Noah was 600 years when the flood of waters was upon the earth. So notice the numbers 600 and 120, 216. Perfect. This is a perfect representation of what Scripture is trying to allude to, not only in word but in numbers, is also that in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. And as the numbers were in the days of Noah, 216 can be represented of man, because Obama, that's his number, Revelation 13:18. It's the number of a man born on the 216th day of the year. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. 120, 600, it all links. You link it to also the days of Daniel, 1260 days, 216 again, and 1335 days. When you add those up, it's 6 years, 6 months, 6 days, plus 216 days, 666, 216. It's repeated as it says in Genesis, as it says in Daniel, and as it is applied today with the man Obama and the man, the Pope Francis. All right, all this under a blog so that you can see it, like whiteboards. Bring everything to people's attention. Those with eyes to see and ears to hear will see it and hear it. And it just especially makes it clear when you see it in written format. Thanks for listening.